This is Phil from Neck Deep, and you're listening to the Rock Sound Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Rock Sound Podcast. I'm Will Cross, Junior Editor at the magazine. Joining me as always, Tamsin Wills. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, feeling good?
I'm feeling good. A little bit sleepy. We're nearing the end of the week now.
Yes.
And the bags under my eyes are growing larger with every waking moment.
Likewise. And Jack Rogers, hello.
Hello, Will.
How are you?
I'm great because winter's actually here now.
Yeah.
It's not like that fake winter we've been having where it's been really warm. You haven't been knowing if you need a coat or not. Now it's like proper.
Can confirm it's coat weather.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I'm buzzing. Doc Martens weather. Brilliant.
Nice. Lovely stuff. Well, last week we had Chris Motionless from Motionless and White and Ash Costello of New Year's Day on the show. Absolutely brilliant. Loads of good feedback online. Subscribe to us on iTunes, follow us on SoundCloud. But this week, we have got Mr. Remington Leith from Palaye Royale joining us on the show. So many of you out there are absolutely calling for that band in your droves for us to cover them in any which way. So we're bringing Mr. Leith on just ahead of their sold-out debut UK show in London. And also Carl Fasel and Dan Lambton of the awesome Real Friends, one of my favourite pop-punk bands on the scene. They're gearing up to record album number 3, so I caught up with both of them just ahead of their show in Neck Deep a few weeks ago to find out exactly what's going on with that. But first, Tam's in the news.
Right. Fall Out Boy have previewed new song Expensive Mistakes live. Don Broco have officially announced new album Technology and dropped the new song, which is called T-Shirt Song. It's coming in February 2018, so get hyped for that. Waterparks have posted their first episode of an entertainment studio diary online. All Time Low have dropped the video for Good Times. I Don't Know How But They Found Me have released new song Choke. Sleeping with Sirens have dropped an acoustic EP, live and acoustic from NYC. Marmozets have announced a UK tour taking place next February, and Against the Current will play both the opening and closing ceremonies of the League of Legends World Finals, both of which will be live streamed. Check out Legends Never Die now. Banger!
Do you want to add a banger, Jack?
Bang.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, so Mr. Leith, Remington Leith, vocalist frontman of the growing phenomenon that is Palaye Royale. Super excited. So I've spoken to Remington a good few times across this year, stuff with the magazine and things like that. So it feels very special to have him doing his debut on the podcast. So I brought all kinds of stuff to him about their crazy year and what's to come, and some little exclusives in this chat for all you Palaye Royale fans out there, and also some really interesting chat about being a very different band. And we've talked a lot about on the show already, but crossing genres and crossing musical worlds and introducing listeners to all kinds of musical eras that maybe they wouldn't have found out about otherwise. And of course there's a sold out debut UK show, as I mentioned earlier, coming up at the Camden Assembly next week in London. So excited, huge stuff. But let's allow Mr. Leith to do the talking. So yeah, Remington Leith, Palaye Royale, here we go. So let's kick off with Boom Boom Room then. So it's been with us for just over a year now. Does it really feel like people have totally connected with the songs now? You know, like songs like Too Many People and Warhol and Mr. Doctor Man, like they just seem like these anthems now. Does it really feel like the songs have connected?
Yeah, the songs are starting to feel like, you know, because it's really crazy when I come to a show and a kid like rolls up their sleeve and has a lyric tattooed. That's like the craziest thing in the world to me. Because like I'm like, oh my God, like those are the lyrics that I wrote, you know, and it's you'll never really get used to it, but you know, I'm so glad, you know, people are connecting with my music, and because that's all, you know, we can ever ask for is you know, we just put out, you know, songs that we believe in, and if people believe in them too, then that's just amazing.
Amazing, yeah, because like we've chatted as well before, you guys have a very unique style in that, you know, like fans of My Chemical Romance and those sort of bands could be into your band, but then also, you know, you take a real influence from bands like The Faces and Stones, and you really kind of blend eras together, which is like no one else is doing right now. Do you think people have really kind of taken to that in that what you're doing is so unique?
Yeah, because it's funny because, you know, a lot of the kids that, you know, we play shows to, obviously they know like My Chemical Romance and, you know, Nirvana, but they don't know so much of like the history of kind of like the Stones and, you know, the Faces. And and they kind of think it's like a new sound, but I'm like, you know, it goes back so far. They kind of don't really know that, you know, their parents listen to that type of music, you know, and I think they would be shocked to find that out. But it's really interesting because, you know, a lot of kids really don't know, you know, a lot of like classic rock, and so I'm glad we can kind of like shine a light on that, you know.
Definitely, yeah. And is that a really exciting thing as well, that, you know, say fans of your band can learn so much about rock and roll music as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing because I've had like a bunch of kids that, you know, have come up to me like, you know, I've listened to so many interviews of you guys where you guys keep saying, you know, the Rolling Stones, and I finally like checked them out and they're my favorite band. I was like, good. I'm like, yes, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, because as well, you know, as well in terms of from a kind of modern standpoint as well, like you guys are really, we spoke to Chase Atlantic recently, you toured with, and it feels like, you know, you two guys especially, like you really kind of blend in worlds, as I say, and it feels like fans of so many different kinds of music can all kind of unanimously love your band. Do you think that's that's something that's going to continue to happen, and that, you know, genres and that sort of thing maybe don't mean so much nowadays, and that, you know, people like yourselves who grow up loving so many different kinds of music can really find a sound that, you know, incorporates so many different things?
Yeah, because even with the Chase Atlantic dudes, because you know, they especially on the Sleeping with Sirens tour, they were just like a different sound, but everybody seemed to really enjoy it, and that's just such a huge thing to realize. You know, I think more bands, you know, that don't quite fit together should totally go out more, you know, because that's the whole point of music, and it's just having a good time. Because if there's like 7 of the same exact bands on the same bill, it kind of blends together. So I like, you know, bands that kind of stick out from each other.
Definitely, yeah. And do you think that's a really refreshing thing as well, to have these really, really eclectic bills? Do you think that's great for, you know, kids just getting into music and things like that? Do you think that's a really, really good thing for music in general?
Yeah, and it's funny because like a lot of the shows we brought, because we kind of stole the Chase Atlantic saxophone player like every show to play Get Higher.
No way.
And it was like the coolest thing. Yeah. So it was funny because he just played LA Fashion Week with us too, and just like was jamming on the sax, and I love that. I think more bands should get together and just, you know, have fun and jam together.
Definitely, yeah. Because as well, when you sort of start putting together future Palaye material, do you think that'll be something that you continue to incorporate into the music, and that, you know, there isn't essentially a rule book? You know, you just want to do so many interesting, new, refreshing things with your music.
Yeah, because even we're just going over the songs for the new record actually yesterday, and, you know, it's just there's some like pop songs, there's some, you know, kind of heavier rock songs, there's just like classic rock songs. You know, we really don't hold back, because, you know, if we write the song, we're not going to be like, well, this isn't our genre. It's like, we're just going to put it out because, you know, we wrote it and, you know, we believe in it.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of new material then, so is a whole album written, or kind of where are you guys up to with that?
The whole album is written.
Oh, wow.
It's been written for like a couple of years, and now we have to, you know, because we wrote about, I think, 40 songs for this record. So
wow.
We have to like narrow that down quite a bit. It's going to be hard because it's like, you know, choosing your favorite child. So so we're just in that process right now, picking the songs that are going on the record, and then I think we record it right after we get back from London.
Oh, no way. Cool. So do you reckon it'll be quite different to Boom Boom Room, or just like obviously with the same kind of the spirit and, like you say, that kind of eclectic feel? But do you reckon there'll be a kind of a lot of new ground for Palaye as well?
The way we really describe this record is like, it's like Boom Boom Room's like hotter sister. It's just better. So we're really excited about it. I think we're going to be dropping brand new single with music video. We're aiming around January.
Oh, man. Awesome. I cannot wait to hear it. And I mean, with that in mind, with the London show in mind, I mean, that's incredible. And that, you know, first time overseas, and you're playing a fully, you know, a very quickly sold out crazy show. How are you feeling about that? That must be so exciting.
That was one of like the coolest things ever, because you know, our agent was like, you know, if you guys can sell like, you know, a quarter of the tickets, that would look really good on you guys. We're like, okay, you know, I'm like, we've never even stepped foot over in England. We don't know how quickly it's going to sell, but, you know, we'll try our best. and then it sold out in I think like 3 days.
Man.
And I remember I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, you'll never guess what happened. So it's extremely exciting. Like, we really didn't see it coming, but we're so excited to play, you know, Europe and the UK and, you know, Asia, Japan for this next year, because we got a bunch of stuff booked kind of overseas for this next year.
No way, amazing. So in terms of what we can expect as well, like, you know, I was checking out, obviously we've chatted a bit about the Palaye Royale, like, live experience and stuff, and I was checking out your Instagram, and I saw, because obviously you guys have got a very distinct aesthetic, and you're heavily involved in, like you say, sort of fashion weeks and the fashion world in general. I saw you were wearing like a dress designed by Courtney Love and stuff like that, which was really, really cool. Is that kind of what we can expect from the show as well? Will you be very much bringing that side of Palaye Royale to the UK fans as well?
What we always try to do is I try to do something just different and crazy and something for people just to kind of go home with. You know, the whole fashion week, just the people there are so stuffy and so serious, and I'm like, I'm just gonna be a goofball. I'm gonna wear a dress. It was actually Sebastian's girlfriend's dress that I took from her closet before we went to the show. I was like, you know what? I don't like the outfit right now. I'm gonna wear a dress tonight, scare some people. And so, you know, we just like having fun, doing something brand new, and we try to bring that to every show possible. Because I've always never been a fan of, you know, if you see a band, you know, one time and you see their show, and then you see them a couple months later and it's the same exact show. It's like, that's the whole reason you go see something live. It's just kind of to see something kind of unexpected, you know.
Yeah, definitely, man. I couldn't agree more. I mean, as well, in terms of you know, the Royal Council and how, you know, how quickly that's grown over the past year. I mean, you know, the Royal Times has been completely selling out. You know, obviously we got the show selling out. It's all completely crazy. 1 million views on Mr. Doctor Man on YouTube. Like, does it still very much feel like they're a huge part of the band? You know, I remember you telling me that they were doing artwork that you ended up blending into like tour posters and stuff, which was really cool. Is that very much something that you're hoping to continue?
Oh, 100%. It's because we've been really noticing lately, you know, I see a bunch of kids that come to the show that kind of put on my makeup and kind of, you know, do like copy my makeup. And I think that's the coolest thing in the world. So, you know, as a band, we decided for this Christmas, we're going to give the fans a little something that not a lot of like boy bands kind of put out. So we're going to release a makeup line. It's like some eye makeup so they can kind of be more involved with us, you know.
So in terms of that as well, because I've seen as well that you're kind of putting a vote out to fans in the States about sort of which places that they want you to play the most. Is that because there's been such a kind of demand and people are so devoted and they've so like fallen in love with the band? Is it that you've literally just kind of, you know, you've got to work out exactly where the biggest, sort of where fans want you to go because the Royal Council's so overwhelming? Is that kind of where that came from?
That's kind of where that came from, is because we're going to be doing, we're setting up, I think, our first headlining thing in about January, February for just, it's like 10, 13 shows in the U.S. And, you know, we want to see, you know, which crowd, because, you know, obviously we would love to tour this for like a couple months, but we have, you know, other things booked. So we want to like, go to the best, not like the best cities, but where the most demand is, you know?
No, definitely. So I remember you telling me as well that you'd been to certain cities where you were playing and stuff, and fans had literally kind of done artwork and stuff like that you had no idea about until you saw it yourself. Is that something that you've seen repeatedly since? Like, is that kind of something that kind of follows you around in terms of the fan base and that sort of thing?
Yeah, because we see artwork about every show, and it's so crazy because all these kids are so freaking talented, and it's so cool to see that how involved our fans are with, you know, getting like our aesthetic, and they draw us these amazing like fan art shit, and it's just unbelievable to see like, you know, these talented kids just like kind of like lean toward favoring your band in like a weird way. It's something I never really expected to happen, you know, because, you know, I was raised, you know, people come to shows, they listen to the music, and they go home. But it just feels so much more involved in this fan base, and it's like a family, and I love it so much.
As well, do you find that you have kind of your fan base really spans age groups? Because obviously, you've got the whole rock and roll element, and then you've got, the more modern element, and say there's all these different things going on. Do you find that that's really kind of, that attracts a real kind of amazing range of people?
Yeah, I kind of noticed that about probably a couple days ago, because we did this radio gig with Buck Cherry up in Sacramento, and it was just like, it was 100 pre-sold tickets to like only like these radio listeners. They're all about above the age of 40, all kind of like listen to like the heavier metal. And I'm like, I get there, I get up on stage, and I'm like, oh God, they're going to hate me. I'm like, they're not 13-year-old girls. I'm like, this is going to be terrible. But they wound up just absolutely loving it. And it kind of shocked me. I was like, wow, I'm like, we've got a very, very diverse people like that enjoy our music, and it's really cool to see.
Wow, man, that's so cool. I mean, in terms of as well, we've chatted in the past as well about kind of the idea of bringing back the kind of, the icon within bands, and, bands that have a real, distinct aesthetic and kind of, they're almost sort of superhero-esque in a way. Do you think that's coming back a lot more, especially this year, with you guys? And do you think there is an element of that coming back into the music world?
It's definitely starting to feel like that. It really is. It's because you always hope for like ever since you're a kid, you always wanted to be like this untouchable rock stars type superhero guy, and then you always wishing. But it's so cool to kind of like see that kids just look up to bands so much, and they really are they're heroes, and that's like, so you have like a responsibility to be like someone to look up to. And I think that's the coolest thing, that, kids look up to bands and not, politicians anymore.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that's quite an important thing in a way, in that, they are getting these figures again that are giving a lot of hope, as opposed to, like you say, politicians and people like that maybe aren't such hopeful figures?
Yeah, it's cool to see, kids kind of going toward, these guys that are living their dreams, and I hope it inspires them, like kids, for them to follow their dreams and whatever it may be,
Yeah, definitely. And is that what you had as well, as you were growing up, as you say, because, you had people like, Ronnie Lane, but then also Gerard Way as well, it's people from different eras. Is that how it felt for you growing up? Are you three growing up as music fans and eventually starting the band?
Yeah, because, I had so many people I looked up to as a kid. Obviously like Mick Jagger, Gerard Way. I looked up to so many people, and then I think I finally met, who was it? It was the lead singer of the Black Crowes.
Oh, cool.
And I went to like my first Black Crowes concert when I was 13, and I met the singer, and it was like meeting a superhero. It was the coolest experience of my life. And ever since then, I was like, this is exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Awesome stuff. So yeah, Remington, just brilliant. They're a real unique bunch of guys, and as I say, I think this is only going to get bigger from here. And I think 2018 is going to be quite the year. Tamsin, what are you saying?
I mean, straight up, I need to get my hands on that makeup line. So if you're listening and you want to hook a girl up, then you know where I am. I'm a big fan of eyeliner. Just saying. Other than that, though, I think we said 2018 is going to be a big year for them. And the fact that they've kind of been working on the record for like 2 years now, and they've got 40 songs written, and they know what they're doing, they know where they want to go, they know who they want to be. So I think it's going to be a very exciting few months, really, for them.
100%. Jack?
My main thing about Palaye Royale is just the hype. Like, there's not many bands I see with hype like this. It's kind of reminiscent of 21 Pilots in the scale of euphoria which is going on. And I'm really interested to see, like, as it gets bigger and bigger. Like, I mean, I love they called what's going to be side B of Boom Boom Room, like, Side A's hotter sister.
Yeah, genius.
And I mean, like, we're saying that because that album's already eclectic in its own right and all over the shop and just like so interesting and unique and unlike anything else.
Yeah.
So to push that to another level and like describe it as like even more attractive on the eye is it's really interesting and like just I say like I'm quite astounded by like how many people have been asking for this.
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy.
It is crazy. It's got pandemonium written all over it.
It really does. I mean, I've had emails sent to me personally asking for the magazine to cover this band in any way we can. It's crazy stuff. It feels so organic, and like you say about 21 Pilots, it feels almost DIY in that sense. So yeah, of all the bands in 2018, I think keep your eyes on this band because it's going to be.
I mean, it's kind of one of those like this show they're playing on Tuesday is like 200 people. Next one, it's going to be 1,000, and then bigger, and then bigger, and then bigger. So it's kind of like, prepare yourself.
Too right, big up. And Too Many People off Boom Boom Room Side A, banger. So yeah, a lot more, I think, from Palaye Royale in the coming months, and big shout out to Remington. Jack?
List of questions.
Gets better.
Whoa.
It does.
One week, I'm building up to like... an actual like screamed vocal, but I'm not very confident with it yet.
I'm gonna come in with an air horn one week, can't you? Like...
What? That's got my voice on it. Somehow.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's begin with Jordan Mealand has asked us: should people let MCR move on from MCR? Which I think is a metaphorical hot potato. At this point, I say yes. Because all the band, like I think recently there was an interview where Gerard was talking about playing World of Warcraft on the road, and he looks so happy and so like content with the life he's living because he's a family man now. Like Frank's been on the road so much, like, and he's just got home to his family. He told us a few weeks ago that he can't wait to like chill out, and yet people still keep going. When's the reunion coming? Like, oh, bloody hell, I'd love to hear you play these songs. Will you play these songs live? I think while things are as they are, because no one knows what the future's going to hold, I think, leave them be, live their lives and do their own things.
Yeah, I kind of agree, like everything that you said, but like straight up answer is yes. Like move on from MCR, becoming MCR again, but never let your love for them die. Like there's so I think I speak for all of them. There's so many bands that like have broken up that I still listen to like quite frequently. I go back to an album and I'm like, oh my god, this album's so good. Like I wish I could see it live again. It sucks that they're not together. But like just because a band isn't together doesn't mean that you can't adore them with all your being. Yeah,
and I mean this whole situation has always reminded me of the Smiths in that they're one of the biggest bands probably on the planet in musical history, and they've always just remained true to what they originally did. They've never got back together, and it's always reminded me of My Chemical Romance in that when Gerard did his kind of long explanation for what had happened after the breakup was announced, it's always really stuck with me in that he said that he knew it was the end when he went on stage, and it was the first time that he felt he was having to pretend, the first time he felt like it wasn't something that he truly believed in anymore. And I think that's so rare in this day and age, and it's just not a band's fault. Bands need to make a living, all sorts of things, but it's still so rare, and in that sense very, very special, I think. And in that respect, kind of like what you've both said, I think that if MCR want to let it lie, I think that's absolutely right.
Local.loser. Oh. I bet you're lovely, really. I've asked the band you would most like to see make a comeback, and mine is a band I talk about nearly every day, which is Drugs. Which, if you're not familiar with Drugs, it is the brainchild of Craig Owens of Chiodos, and Nick Martin of Sleeping with Sirens fame is part of them. And about 7 years ago, I think maybe 2010, they released one of the best albums ever. Which is just the perfect combination of like sassy post-hardcore and like abrasive metalcore all mixed into one, and they played a few shows in the UK, and then they just disbanded. And there was a rumor a few weeks ago that they were talking about it was a vicious troll. But I'd love to see them make like a proper comeback and like play actual shows and be an active band rather than like a side project.
I'm gonna go for a band who I feel like they gave up before it could have been so good. It's a band, a UK pop rock band who came out sort of around the same time You Me at Six and Lower Atlantis and those sorts of bands were all first starting, and they would all tour together, and it was the best time of my life. It's a band called Futures. I mean, they kind of came out in 2009, and they put out what I think is like, literally, I speak to anyone I know within this scene, and everyone agrees they put out one of the best debut EPs that's just ever been.
It's a banger.
And it came. I still hands down have my copy that was given away for free through Rock Sound magazine.
Yeah,
Same.
Yeah.
Big up.
So they gave away their debut EP free with Rock Sound, and it's seriously like, just go and listen to it. It's A Boy Who Cried Wolf is still one of the best songs I've ever heard. And for the like to kind of bring people up to date, the lead singer Ant is probably better known for his new project called Oh Wonder. But yeah, and their debut album as well was so good, and it's just pure joyful pop rock. Like, you can't fault it. It's so good.
Shout out. Is the Summer on that EP?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, mate, banger. Yeah, so good. I'm going with YD, Your Demise.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, again, I think it's like a running theme. Is all bands that should have been huge and kind of like gave up before they could be. YD are one of the best bands of this entire decade. Totally unique. They started out long ago as a very straight up hardcore band, but then Ed McRae, one of the best frontmen to ever come from the UK, joined them, and they turned into this hybrid of all kinds of things, like melody, straight up hardcore, brutal, but just like huge choruses, all sorts of stuff going on. One of the best live bands I've ever seen as well. Some of the most brutal, vicious, but also fun and brilliant at the same time live shows I've ever seen. Bangers for days, Paper Trails, Kids We Used to Be, Life of Luxury, so many good songs. I can't kind of gush about them enough. Basically, they're just one of the best bands, and I miss them dearly.
I have many stories of failed stage dives to Your Demise. One which involved me bruising the whole of my thigh as I landed on the barrier, and the other when I tried to stage. I was trying to do the shouty bit that Mike from Doe West Prada does on Shine On, and the band stopped everything and just went, "Oh, you've missed that bit, mate." And then the rest of the crowd was like, "Way!" And then I had to like slink off stage. Shout out YD Unit Forever.
That's it, man. YD Forever. Love it.
Not Magda Knight asked us what our favourite all-time low song is, and I have 2 words: poppin' champagne.
Strong shout.
Bold.
Coffee shop soundtrack.
Oh, banger.
Yeah, straight, like literally, it's still on all of my playlists on Spotify. I will never get bored of that song.
Great shout. Yeah, for Baltimore. Yeah, just when the 90s vibes went in with that quintessential kind of all-time low sound, just perfect.
But as a quick shout out, like, been listening to, me and Will were just talking about how brilliant Last Young Renegade is, and I get a feeling that Nightmares is going to be in my top 3 of all time very, very soon. Very
good shout. Ground Control for me, man. Great album.
Shout out listener questions.
So, shop.rocksound.tv, very, very special week this week. We have launched a brand new issue, and it's Don Broco's first ever cover feature. Huge, so excited to be doing this and to be a part of this. It feels really special. It feels like it's a real long time coming. Don Broco blossomed into one of the most unique bands in music, I think. So to be able to do this is incredible. So all 3 bundles are available now at shop.rocksound.tv. There are only 200 available of each, which is crazy. So snap them all up. Once they're gone, they're gone. They're all based around the band's newer songs and their videos. So you can get the Everybody bundle, the Pretty bundle, and a Technology bundle. Each bundle has a different limited edition cover, one of which involves cowboys, which is enough to buy on its own. A pin badge, a hand-signed poster print by the whole band, exclusive art card prints of each member with different themes depending on which cover you go for, and also a Don Broco vinyl sticker. So much going on, so much to get involved with. The feature written by our associate editor Rob Sayce is fascinating. It's a look at their journey, as I say, from this kind of unusual beginning, we've talked about on the show before with Thug Workout and this kind of odd band, up to now with Technology, which is dropping next year, like Tamsin said on the news. It's just, man, like every song they've dropped from it has been different and been a total banger. So really, really interesting. Feels great to be a part of it. Shop.rocksound.tv. Snap those bundles up. Check it all out. Also includes features on Fall Out Boy, As It Is, Palaye Royale, poster special from this year's legendary Slam Dunk, so much more. So get involved, shop.rocksound.tv. Spotify playlist as well. Updated Rock Sound chart. Who at the top of it, Jack?
Don Broco.
That's it, with T-shirt song. Big up. Follow us on Spotify, get involved with that.
I take my T-shirt off, raise it around my head.
You saw that in real time as well, didn't you?
I did. I've seen Rob Damiani take his T-shirt off and wave it around his head while watching Bad Rabbits in Peckham.
And a brand new episode as well of the Scuzz TV show on Daily on Scuzz to go along with the Don Broco cover of the magazine. Absolutely incredible. So you want to check out all the new bangers, all the new information about all the bands included in this month's issue. Check that out on Daily on Scuzz. So interview 2, real friends, Dan Lambton and Kyle Fasel. I spoke to them, caught up with them just before their show supporting Neck Deep at Brixton a few weeks ago. We chatted about, they've just celebrated 7 years as a band. They've put some very interesting acoustic sessions up online, so we chatted about that. But also the main event, we chatted about what's happening with album number 3, currently writing it, coming to an end of the writing session, the writing process. Really, really interesting stuff. It feels like there's a real fire in the belly there. So without further ado, this is Dan and Kyle from Real Friends. Awesome. So Dan, Kyle, thank you so much for joining us, the Rock Sound Podcast.
Nice one.
Stoked. Awesome. So it's been 7 years as a band. Celebrated last month. With the acoustic sessions. Take us inside. That's quite an unusual, cool way of celebrating, the band so far. Where did the ideas for that come from? Did you just kind of want to do something a bit different?
Well, we used to do acoustic videos all the time, like coming up and stuff, just to put content out, including certain spots around our area and stuff, and just kind of, I guess, an updated, more focused version of that, whereas you get a new song, an old song performed in a random location. First one was in Kyle's apartment. We tried doing a second one at what is called the Catcade in Chicago, which is exactly how it sounds. It's an arcade with, and they teamed up with local animal shelter to have about 10 or so cats, and they're probably more. They have a back room, probably just cats on cats, but you go there and you can adopt the cats. And tried doing it, it didn't end up working. We're gonna go back there, try to get it going again. But just like random cool spots that we can think of in our area, that we want to include within what we're doing.
And at this point too, like kind of tying it in with the 7 years as a band, we kind of look back, we're like, we have a lot of songs, and I think that also too, I think being a band in this day and age too, there's a lot of songs that are overlooked, just because I think that things are gearing more towards Spotify and like singles and playlists and all that, and we have a lot of songs, and all the bands out there have a lot of songs that are just kind of not highlighted in today's world, because I do think it's shifting more to singles. So it's kind of another way for us to highlight maybe even an older song that wasn't that well known, maybe something later on an album or something like that, So it's definitely a good opportunity for us to do that as well. It's another point of it.
Awesome, yeah. 'Cause is it fun to kind of go back to those older songs, stuff on like This Is Honesty? Is it fun to kind of revisit those things and maybe kind of do new things with them and that sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, we actually have been taking, because before we would just take the songs and play them acoustic, and this time around we're trying to actually kind of change them a little bit into more of an acoustic format, so that it's not just us playing the songs as is on the, as it is on the record.
Awesome, yeah. Because as well, you're saying there are plans to be more. Like, is that plan going into 2018 that we might be seeing some more stuff coming online? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
just whenever we have the, whenever we have the chance.
Yeah, I think it's something that we want to do frequently, but not like, also not put like a date on it, like every Friday, you know what I mean? It's like we kind of just want it to be like frequently, but when it feels right too, like we don't want to do it with songs that we don't feel, like need it, or like at locations maybe we're not stoked on. We want everything to be special. And we were really stoked on the first one. We thought it came out really good. Like the audio, even like we just recorded it a lot better, and we watched the old acoustic videos. I'm like, these suck compared to like these new ones. I'm like, they just sound so much better. And another cool thing of it too is that they're totally done by us. Like we film it all. Dave and Dan kind of have done the like audio stuff with it, so it's definitely like totally produced by us, which I think is cool, and like really just kind of gives us more options of things to do with Real Friends.
Amazing, yeah, because as well, the Home Inside My Head has been with us for a good 18 months now, so people have had the real time to take in all the songs and really absorb it. Like, how is it listening back to that album now? Obviously, you did it with Steve Yvette's, and like, it really felt like, you kind of really explored the Real Friends sound and kind of made it, even bigger. Like, how is it listening back to that album now? Are you still really proud of it?
I can't remember the last time I listened to it. So, fuck that album. I can't say I haven't taken a listen in a minute, so I might have to do that tonight. We can. I'll send you a little sound bit, and you can edit it in.
I'm up for that.
I think we are proud of the album, but I also think being an artist listening to the album, there's a lot of things that were maybe left open that we feel like we kind of want to explore more on. So yeah, I mean, like we're proud of the album, but I think it's one of those things too where you listen to it and it's just there's just so much more to be explored, So which makes me really stoked for our next album.
Amazing. So there's a real fire in the belly then at the moment for the new songs, and they're really excited about them.
Yeah, I think that our band, as of late, has kind of had like, I don't know, kind of a fire, like you said, like going into this next album, like. We've been writing it for a while, and not to say that we didn't in the past, but like I feel like we just have been communicating more as a band, and just kind of like, instead of it just kind of being like, hey, this is what we're gonna write, okay, yeah, it sounds cool. It's like everyone being more open with what they want to do, and kind of where we want to go with the sound.
So in terms of like how far you're along with it, how is it sounding? Is it kind of like, you say exploring kind of like newer things within the Real Friends sound? And could we be expecting maybe some curveballs, or who knows? Or will it be, I guess it will be the Real Friends that we know and love as well, but it sounds like it could be quite an experimental album.
I don't know if it's far along enough as far as like the greater picture.
Yeah, it's definitely not there yet, but we have a lot of music written for sure. That's like more than enough probably, but we're kind of to the point now where after this tour actually is when we're going to go home and kind of like piece it all together. That's when it will really all start to come together, because it's funny, like you can write a song and then listen, like I think we started writing songs for this like, God, it had to be like close to maybe even like 8 or 9 months ago, and you're writing then and you're like, man, this sounds awesome, and then you listen back and you're like, that's not very good. So like I feel like time is something that we have never really had in the past when it comes to writing and stuff. The last album we did a little, but this one we really started writing early, like not heavily, but like started the process. So I think that I hope at least, but I think when the record's done, we'll look back and feel very good about it, and just that it was very well thought out, like there was a lot of things like brought up that, well, let's not do that. Oh, let's do that. Okay, let's, because I think the more time you have, the better. And we've definitely been writing it for a while now still, like Dan said, don't even really have the grand scheme of it, you know. Gotta go and pick through all the bits and pieces when we get home.
Oh man, it's so exciting! Like, so in that way, has it been so far? Has it been quite an organic, positive writing process? Then it sounds like, you know, you say you've given so much time to the songs, it's really allowing them to kind of expand and breathe and grow. Is that kind of, it's been a very positive process so far?
Yeah, it's nice to be able to do it at more of a leisurely pace instead of feeling like a chicken with my head cut off. I will say that, but no, yeah, it's been great because then it doesn't have to be necessarily like a grind. Well, there's always like a grind and like a crunch time,
which is healthy though.
Yeah,
to an extent.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, every time we're able to judge it better on how, you know, we should do it the next time around.
Definitely. So in with the previous records, was it a bit more fraught in the past then? Were you kind of working to quite tight deadlines and that sort of thing?
God damn it. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I had to start taking pills for a while, but it was because we'd tour a lot, and we would take, you know, we'd take what was good, but a lot of it came at once. So then it would be, you know, like we'd be writing, and then we get an offer for a tour, and then we announce a label signing, announce you know, that the record's coming out, and then record the record, then go tour on it, and then, you know, but when you're recording it, you have less than 3 weeks, and then you don't have any off days, and if your voice fucks up, which mine did during that record, then
The first record.
yeah, gotta figure something out. So luckily it got done, but it's just like it's nice to be able to have that scheduling like locked in and kind of know when to start to avoid just unnecessary stress.
Yeah, and I think the more you do it, you know, like before, I mean, like you originally said, we've been a band for 7 years, and it's like going in to write even our second album, you know, which at that point, even we had been a band a while, you know, I really feel like we didn't start early enough because we were writing on the road, heavily writing on the road, which was very, very stressful. And like this time around, it was like we just went and started writing a lot earlier, you know, and now when we do go home and from this tour and start to put it all together, I feel like it's going to be that much, like, I don't want to say easier, but more options, I guess, to choose from, you know, because I mean, I don't even know how many songs we've written musically for the album, but it's a lot. If you include all the bits and pieces, it's a lot, you know. So, but it's putting it all together that's going to be the work when we get home.
Amazing, yeah. Because when you came out and, you know, announced "Home Inside My Head," I mean, it was very like, you know, obviously maybe this place is the same, and it was, you did all the touring off that, and then all of a sudden it was like you went away for a very, very short amount of time, and it was suddenly like, oh, we got a new album, you know. So that was that a direct kind of result of that, in that it was just constant.
Yeah, it was just, didn't matter when and where, it was just we were working on the record, yeah. So
yeah, and I think that's a thing where you live and learn though too. Like with us, it's like we would never write a record like while touring again, you know. Like it was just a lot. But I mean, that's what it is to be in a band though, you know. It's all about time management, you know. It's like you know, it's great to do this and we love it, but you learn a lot, you know. And it's like you can't always be going like 150 miles an hour, you know. It's like you have to be able to like do certain things and not do certain things, you know, because being on the road and writing is really hard, you know. But yeah, we would probably never do that again. But yeah, don't want to do that.
So just to finish up then, so going into 2018 then, it's all about the new tunes, but it's very much about making sure that they get the time they deserve, and then we'll hear stuff when it's ready, basically.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think we're very focused. I think we're more focused than we've ever been as a band, probably, going into the writing and recording process of this record. You know, I'm really stoked for the future. Like, I don't feel like we've been a band for 7 years. Like, I don't feel like wore out or like sick of this, or you know what I mean? It's like, I think we're all very like refreshed and very stoked on the future. You know, we want to just keep going.
Awesome, yeah. I mean, I absolutely love Real Friends. They've just got absolute bangers for days, so I cannot wait for this album. One of my most anticipated for 2018. Tamsin, what you saying?
Real Friends are a great band. Like, always have been. They always stick to their roots, and they've never set out to just be another pop punk band. Like, they have their own style and twists on like the pop punk genre, and they don't really sit alongside State Champs and Neck Deep and such. They kind of have the emo vibe as well, which is really, really cool. But from that interview, I think it's really nice to hear that they are taking their time with this next record, and then they're not pressured with dates and timelines and people being like, you've got this amount of time to do this, because I think everyone kind of, if you're a friend of Real Friends, if you're a fan of Real Friends, it can be a friend as well, sure. They've had some struggles the past few years, and like a lot of people don't realise the pressures of like touring, writing, touring, writing, like just doing that on a constant cycle. It can be really damaging to people. Like, bands are human. I think people forget that, and I think it is really important for them, in order for Real Friends to remain being Real Friends. They need that time to just kind of work on things how they want to work on it, and I think because they now have that, the whatever is coming next musically is going to be really, really special.
100%, yeah. I cannot wait, Jack.
Well, Real Friends have always been huge advocates of like mental health awareness, especially Dan, who has been more open than many people are like confident enough to be about like their troubles and their demons. And like when you listen to him actually talking about music, you can see like it leaks through a little bit, because it's like you can't keep these worlds separate, especially when the pressures of like when people do expect you, as Tamsin said, like to release an album and then tour and then like constantly be releasing content. It's like Kyle said, it's about the time management. You can't always go 150 miles an hour, which in this world, most people do, and that's where you crash. Like, you can't even drive a car at 150 miles an hour, like, let alone your brain. So for them to be in that position where they're not feeling like they have to come back like straight away, like they can take a rain check and go, you know what, we've achieved this, and we're going to figure out what we're going to do next. It's just really nice. It's nice that they're not like, with so many interviews that we've had on this, it's like people feeling a little bit jaded about what they've been doing for the past year. To hear them actually really happy and solid about the direction they're in at the minute, it's really nice. Like, shout out Real Friends.
Definitely, yeah. And the Home Inside My Head as well, I felt that was such a brilliant kind of step forward for the band. So I think this could be a real moment, I think they could genuinely be the next pop punk band to really, really make a breakout wave, And I hope so, because they totally deserve it, because they're great. So fingers crossed, and we'll definitely get the guys back on the show when there's more news on the album, when it's all recorded. So yeah, brilliant stuff. So shop.rocksound.tv, as I say, very, very special week. We have launched the first ever Don Broco cover feature, brand new bundles. You can get the Everybody bundle, the Pretty bundle, and the Technology bundle at shop.rocksound.tv. Each bundle has a different limited edition cover, as I say, based on the band's songs of the same names and the themes of their video, including cowboys and aliens and all sorts of stuff. You get a pin badge, hand-signed poster print by the whole band, exclusive art card prints, which is like trading cards with each member of Don Broco, and also a Don Broco vinyl sticker. So much going on, so cool. As I say, we couldn't be more excited to be doing this, and we'll have a review of the Alexandra Palace show that we're all very excited about in the coming weeks.
Sing some beers and watch the band.
So many high kicks. So many high kicks.
Like, honestly, with that, I'm gonna wear my loose. I'm probably gonna wear my shortest shorts so I can get the highest high kick.
That's an interesting image. Chuck a cowboy hat on as well.
Yes.
Go for it.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Don't encourage me.
That's quite the endorsement. So shop.rocksound.tv, get involved. Brilliant stuff. Also Spotify playlist, get involved. Follow us on Spotify. An updated Rock Sound chart, of course, weekly with, of course, Don Broco at the top with T-shirt song, absolute banger. And the Scuzz TV show, brand new episodes premiered now as well to go along with the new issue. So get on that on daily on Scuzz TV. Come to an end, guys. It's been a lot of fun. You had a good time?
Always.
Jinx! Whoa!
Jinx, sit around touch ground.
That was really weird.
We've reached the point now, haven't we? This is like...
We're hanging out too much together.
We're too in sync.
Is Don Broco the first show we're going to all be at together?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yes.
quite possibly.
Finally
a
happening.
moment.
Yes. Excited.
Perfect.
Maybe we should record the podcast there.
Well,
see what happens.
Well, after like 5 beers and like...
But I am currently running on heads to state champs.
so this is the best.
Thompson's gone. We don't know where.
This is the best night of my life.
What a place to end. Guys, we'll see you next week.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.